The Safe School Workplace Violence Incident Reporting Tool is where all employees must report any incidents of workplace violence as defined by the Occupational Health and Safety Act, regardless of whether the act or threat was from a student, an employee, or an outsider to the board. Anytime an employee becomes aware of a student infraction for which a suspension may be imposed by the principal, or any student infraction for which a principal may consider the recommendation to the board that a student be expelled. In these situations, the employee must verbally report the infraction and any details to the principal, vice principal, or teacher in charge at the earliest and safest opportunity, and then submit the Safe School Incident Report as soon as possible. Where two or more staff or transportation providers are aware of the same incident, each staff member and transportation provider shall make a report to the principal or vice principal. In order to make a report, you must first log in to the staff portal. From there, you're going to go to Links and Resources, where you'll see the Safe School Workplace Violence Incident Tool. Click on that. It's going to take you to another page. Looks like this. Here you'll see any reports you have made previously. In order to make a new report, you would simply click Add. This will take us to the reporting tool. So at the top, it describes why or in the reasons for reporting. And then down here we see we can click if it was a student or an employee or other, and whether or not the incident would be considered for suspension. It's not the student that's considered for the suspension. So a primary age student that has an aggressive act or a threat would still be a click for yes. We know that there are mitigating factors with our younger students. Workplace violence. Was it a physical threat or a verbal aggression? Was it involved physical aggression towards you? You would click the ones that apply. And then finally here, if it was physical force, an attempt at physical force, so that could be a near miss, you ducked, or a statement or behavior that's considered a threat, or could be interpreted as a threat. Employee demographics. Under employee group, you would click down the list and see that you are ETFO. Under incident demographics, the school that you are located at or where the incident happened. Go down the list to find your school. Approximate time of the incident. And then the location within the school. So you can see there's lots of options. You want to indicate whether or not BMS was used, and then any other employees that would have been involved. So you could add an EA's name or CYW here, principal. Okay, the student name goes in here, and then their grade. If there was an IEP involved, and does the student have a safety plan? If you've completed an incident form for this student behavior or similar behavior with this student, you would click yes. Here you get to describe the incident. This is where we want to stick to the facts of what happened that day. Do not include any personal information such as a diagnosis or student name. If there are any weapons, if you go down, there's projectiles. That could be something that was thrown. If you choose other, you'd be able to specify in this block. Aggression towards staff, whether or not any medical attention was required or first aid was done at the school, and then of course whether or not there was any personal protective equipment or PPE involved in the incident. And then you get to describe what occurred immediately before. It's a drop-down menu. And there's a couple of things on the list here that you could choose from. If you don't see something that fits, choose other. And you can describe something that may have happened before, what the aggressive behavior looked like. Again, there's a long list here. But if we go down to the very bottom, there's the option for other if you don't see what you're looking for on the list. What occurred immediately after the incident. Again, there's a list and an option for other, and you can describe in the box. Influencing factors. So may have occurred earlier in the day. Again, a long list, whether it's unknown as well. And then, of course, whether there was a debrief after the incident was reported. Okay, mitigating factors. We know that there are mitigating factors. This isn't something you get to choose from, but just that you understand and have read what is listed. And then finally, suspension. It's the incident again. So a primary student, the incident could still be considered for suspension. You're going to get to see a list here, and you can choose the options that are applicable to the incident that you were involved in. And then finally, expulsion. Now you can click yes and you'll see a list and decide whether or not one of those is applicable. If you don't think that any of them are applicable, you can just go back and click no. And if you finish the report, you can submit and it will be submitted to your principal. If you need any further support, please contact the GIEF office at 519-753-9291.